All right, let's see what our new math workshop problem is about. It says Easton saw 8 bunnies sitting in the grass. Some bunnies hopped away. Now there are 5. How many bunnies hopped away? So I know the first thing I have to do is I have to think about my question. I go to the question mark and I have to see, well, what are they asking me? How many bunnies hopped away? So here's where I find my unit, or I find my keyword label. So how many what? How many bunnies? This is where I circle it and write it. My unit is going to be bunnies. We're talking about bunnies, okay? So I can say, bunnies. We don't know how many bunnies yet, so that's why we put the bunnies. But as I try to get first grade ready, I know that I look at that question and I can turn this question into an answer, or something called an answer statement. Because I know that that's what my first grade teachers are going to be looking for. So instead of how many bunnies hopped away, I can turn that around and I can answer. Well, there were bunnies. So there were bunnies. Now, I'm not finished because I want to be more precise or more clear. It's not just bunnies. There were bunnies that hopped away. Because all of this is about bunnies, so we want to be clear. There were bunnies that hopped away. Okay? All right. Now, the next thing I need to do is I need to read this story again. I need to think about it as if it were a real life story, something that happened in real life. So I'm going to read it again. Easton saw 8 bunnies sitting in the grass. Now, I need to represent this 8 bunnies. I need to think about that, what that means. So I'm going to draw 8, and I'm going to put a box around it because that represents 8 bunnies that were sitting in where? The grass. I have to be precise. So I'm going to put a G. That stands for grass. Okay? Then it says some bunnies hopped away. Now, did more bunnies come? No, it says that some bunnies hopped away. So some of these 8 left, but we don't know how many. So we can put a question mark. I believe that's what we're going to be looking for. So some bunnies hopped away. Now, how can we label this in real life so that we understand what this box represents? So if it says some bunnies hopped away, I believe we can put an H for hopped. These are the ones that hopped away. Okay? And let's continue on with our story. Now, so something happened. Now we have a result. Now there are 5. So instead of having 8 still in the grass, some of them hopped away. Now there are 5. So I'm going to put a 5 here. And then I'm going to label that for real life. I wonder, now there are 5. Maybe this is the bunnies that are left. And I could put an L for left. So we know that we're talking about bunnies, right? Because there's my label. There's my unit. So there was bunnies that were in the grass. There were bunnies that hopped away. And then bunnies that were left. Now, we can see that this is probably this big rectangle here. We know that has to be our whole. And we're going to put a W for whole. So if that's our whole, nothing is going to get greater than our whole. So this probably has to be a combination of 8. Some of you might already notice that it's a combination of 8. But let's continue on with our labels. This is a whole. That means that the part that hopped away is a part. And then the part that left is also a part of all of the bunnies that were in the grass to begin with. Now, as you can see, we have a whole and we know one part, but we don't know the other part. So we know that the last math workshop problem, we could think of it in 2 different ways. We can also think of this one in 2 different ways. So it depends on how your brain is how it makes the most sense to you. So I'm going to show both parts of both ways. So I know that I can say that a whole minus a part equals a part. So a whole, take away that part, equals that part. Or, which is what we did the first time, you can say that a part plus a part equals the whole thing. Okay, so I know that both of these things are true. Okay, and I know that this is a combination of 8. So since I modeled for you last time that a whole minus a part equals a part, I think I'm going to model this one. I think this is the way it makes the most sense to me, that some hopped away and the bunnies that left all equal the bunnies that were in the grass to begin with. So I know that the part that hopped away, I don't know yet, and, or plus, the part that left has to be equal to all of the bunnies that were in the grass to begin with. It has to be equal to 8. Now, there's several different strategies that I can use, but I think I'm going to do a number bond first, okay? So a number bond, I can set my number bond up any different way, but I think I'm going to do it this way, that I have this part that I'm not sure about, and I have this part that I know. This 5, I can go back to my unit bar. It represents the bunnies that were left. Both of these things have to be equal to the big whole. Well, my whole is 8. So how do I figure this out? I have 5 as a part of 8. What is my other part of 8? So I know that I can count on. I can put this number in my head and I can count on 5 until I reach my whole. 6, 7, 8. So 3. So 3 must be the missing part that we're looking for. 3 must be the bunnies that hopped away. But what I have to do is I have to show another strategy to see if it's correct. Okay, so I think it's 3. All right, well, I think I'm going to do a tens frame. And I know that a tens frame, I can show a tens frame as a rectangle. A lot of you remember how to draw a tens frame. It's a slash and 4 lines down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm precise to make sure that I have 5 on the top and 5 on the bottom. So how do I show this equation on a tens frame? So this shows me that something plus 5 equals a whole or a total of 8. So I'm just going to show 8. I've got 8. I know that's true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I'm not going to add any more. I know that these are the parts of 8. That one part, it tells me right here, is 5. So I'm going to show 5 as a different part. And I know to show a different part, I can do a closed-in circle. So there's my one part. What is my other part of 8? Well, it shows me right here. My other part is what is left, and it's 3, which means that I've shown 2 different strategies that shows that the answer to my problem is 3. So I can come back up here, and I can say 3 bunnies. And if I chose to get first grade ready, I can put it in my answer statement. There were, we know now, there were 3 bunnies, now be precise, that hopped away. All right, it is your turn to show your strategies on your math workshop problem. I can't wait to see what you do.